What's going on, guys? BladeZilla here, and today we're taking a look at another fancy, super special Microtech Stitch. I recently put up one of the Signature Series carbon fiber, and what blade was on that one? I think it was a black DLC. And, you know, it seems like we're on Stitch month here because there's some cool stuff coming in from them. So we're going to take a look at this Signature Series Stitch today. And I actually just put this one up on the site. I've got a couple of these guys, so they'll probably go pretty quick. I don't know by the time this video gets up what kind of availability there's going to be, but I figured I would take 10 minutes, show you one of them here, and just to kind of, you know, get a video up of these, because you know these special ones, they tend to go really quick and a little bit. How should I put this? They're not as many floating around. So harder to get videos, well, at least quickly. So anyway, check out my site, BladeZilla.ca in Canada, where we have a lot of this cool stuff up. Just put some, well, that one up, a bunch of CKF stuff. Actually, a bunch of CKF stuff's coming. Lots of cool stuff. So lots of Shiros, you know how it is. There's a couple other Signature Series MSIs, some annexes on sale. So lots of good stuff. That's BladeZilla.ca. We are in Canada. That's what the CA means. But I am going to show you this ridiculous knife today. The first thing I noticed, actually, it's really heavy. It's super, super heavy. And I'm going to try to read the box here because there's a lot going on in the actual naming of this knife. So obviously it's on a Signature Series from Microtech, and it's a Stitch. But they call it a Baker Forge Damascus Protech Composites live wire carbon fiber with bronze titanium backspacer two-tone DLC hardware. I think, other than being the longest name ever on a knife, I think it makes use of it well. What do you guys think? So I guess we're looking at DLC hardware, we're looking at Damascus, we're looking at obviously a layered carbon fiber and a layered blade. They're all unique as well. So really, really cool, really sharp, my gosh. So I guess the beauty of this knife is, you know, for whoever wants to pick some of these up, they're rare, they're unique, and they're beautiful. So first and foremost, let's get some measurements on this, just in case we don't know what a Microtech Stitch measures in at, but that's something I like to do. I like to do weights and measurements, because why the heck not? In this one, we are at 8.5 inches overall length with a blade of, I guess to the center of the choil, 3.5, but realistically it's like a 3-inch grind. Handle wise, just under 5 inches, 4 3/4. It's a big knife, but it's not a huge blade, which is kind of interesting in itself. We'll get a weight on this one to see how much heavier the actual knife is compared to a standard Stitch, which, geez, they're fairly heavy, I suppose, for what they are. So let's get this guy on the scale. Try to do this as quick as possible. Zero this guy off. And let's take a look. 6.2, 6.1, is that right? Wow, I wasn't kidding myself. 6.2 ounces. Definitely heavier than I was expecting for a Stitch. You know, super, super solid for a Stitch. It feels incredibly solid, even compared to any of the other models. The carbon Stitch, I've got, I don't know, half a dozen of those coming in here this week as well, and that one's also super solid. But you'd think, being carbon fiber, you think it'd be light, right? But that blade has got some girth to it. And look at the layering. Let's get close on this particular one anyway. Beautiful grinds, lots of layers, complex layering. I love how it goes from like almost like a DLC on the bottom to this rolled kind of copper inlays into kind of like this more signature Damascus, but down here it's really tight layers. Tighter the better, am I right? I didn't say it. Gorgeous, gorgeous knife. Incredibly done. And then I'm going to put that blade, tuck that away because I don't want to hurt myself. Let's take a look at the carbon fiber. What did we call it? A a Protech Composites live wire carbon fiber. Incredible. The beauty of this is every angle you look at this knife at, that carbon fiber, much like the blade, changes configuration. And a lot of Shirogorofs I've had has done this in the carbo quartz kind of world. And this one's getting close. Oh. Flip this guy over here and take a look at the other side. What's our date on that clip? Should have been summer 06. 2024 is when the clip was made, at least. Another beautiful layering on that, and layering that's very in tune with the rest of the blade as well, which is what I always dig. Super, super sick. And I'd imagine dead center without a doubt. They're all put together by a special team, by hand. I wouldn't mind taking a peek inside this with my little light as well, just to kind of get an idea what we're working with. Oh, it's kind of copper underneath the backspacer. That's sick. And then just inside, no skeletonization as per the 6.2 ounces, but it is a solid 6.2 ounces. This feels quite hefty compared to a standard stitch, which if you guys have had or held standard stitches, they already feel terrific in their own right. That backspacer is just stunning as well. Oh, gorgeous. And the layering that blade. That's the other thing is, we can look up and down that blade, look at the layering through it, and how gorgeous that looks. That's just an incredible knife in its own right. And the live wire composite, it's a very good match. Like, look at the layering on it. I'll try to move the camera so we can kind of see on the inside of the, I'll try to focus on the carbon, on the top layering. Very similar, hey? Very similar to the Damascus. And looking at that layering, that's so sick. It's still a stitch, still really well made. Obviously, all the features of the standard stitch, the ram lock mechanism, the manual, the fact that you can flip the clip, make it a lefty. For my lefty friends out there, it's obviously very comfortable in the hand, which is the case on this as always, but definitely just feels that extra little bit solid, just because the heavier blade, but real nice and comfortable. But the gorgeousness and the beauty is as we walk down that blade and you can look at the layering on it, and that light hits it, it just is incredible and just so different, right? Like, it's just, all your buddies with stitches, they're going to have a G10 stitch or an aluminum stitch and a number of different configurations, and they're great knives, and I've got shelves full of them. They're terrific and they're reliable and they're great users, but this one's for the collector out there that, you're not using this knife, I imagine. This is something you put on display, you show off. It's a work of art, it's the difference between a Timex and a Rolex, in a lot of ways, right? And certainly with the price point being, geez, what are they? Almost 5 times the price? Is that about right? 6 times the price versus a standard G10 or aluminum stitch, which, like I said, it's one of our top sellers. People absolutely love stitches, and it's just such a good design, so reliable, bomb-proof, but typically they don't have the jewelry factor like Custom Division Shirogorov has. Well, now they do. Now you've got the jewelry factor, and there's not many of these out there. They come with a full COA that's made of titanium. I'm going to grab it actually to show what that looks like, because why not? I think they're actually made of titanium. This is what that COA looks like. Declaration, I guess it'd be a DOA, not dead on arrival. Declaration of Authenticity, Stitch Ramlock, Baker Forge Damascus, Protech Composites, live wire carbon fiber with bronze, titanium backspacer, two-tone DLC hardware, 0624, maker Anthony L. Marfione. So cool. And it looks to have a little signature on it too. Anything on the back? No. I think that is just so freaking cool. And it comes with a little cloth and a little bag and, stuff that is obviously really cool to have with a knife like this. But to me, it's like the blade, the handle, that tie back spacer. It's just so good. Like there's not many of these. I've had a couple amphibians come through. I think I had 6 or so across a couple different colors of the amphibians, and they were gorgeous at the same level, and they were very well received and just beautiful knives. And this is just right up there. And I think, if I recall, the Baker Damascus was the one that everyone wanted the most. Of the, was there 2 or 3 varieties? I'm trying to remember now. They had a kind of a barbed wire blade. They had one just like this, but a different layer, and then they had that's right, they had one with like kind of like a bluish Damascus blade. So I like this because the colors, they really work well across the line with the carbon, the live wire. It is very smooth though, but at the same time, it's got a little roughness to it. As you can kind of see, the epoxy, the resin kind of moves around with that light. So fairly smooth, but grippy with that back spacer. The layering on it's also gorgeous, but the blade is just sensational. And my understanding is, like, to get a blade to do that on both sides is actually pretty difficult to get them to match, because a lot of the times they're quite different on both sides, and that's the skill side of it. To get those 3 lines and then the rough, and 3 lines and the rough. Not easy. Just gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. I haven't had a stitch that I've drooled over this much in quite a while. The last one would have been that black DLC stitch, which I had so many messages about that knife, people wanting that knife, and like I said, I've got another half a dozen of them coming in, so there's going to be enough to go around. But just from a cool factor of a knife that there's not many, well, this ratchets that up 3x, because I bet you there's less than 50 of these. It wouldn't shock me, because they sold out in minutes, it seemed. You pre-ordered them to get them, and then from there, I don't even know if any were available. I saw some on eKnives, I think, had some, and NC Blade had, NC Blade was a pre-order as well. So there weren't many. But I figured I'd, try to throw a quick video together. Anytime I have something cool, I like to at least throw the camera up and try to talk for 10 minutes about it. And it's more just trying to be an enthusiast and show you something cool than talk about the tech specs and the blade grind angles and all that really cool stuff. Just trying to show you the more, enthusiast side of seeing some of this cool stuff come through. So that is the, let's try it again, Stitch Ramlock Signature Series Baker Forge Damascus Protech Composites Live Wire Carbon Fiber with Bronze Titanium Backspacer 2-tone DLC hardware. Pretty good name, an even better knife, even more unique than anything from Microtech that's currently floating around here. And man, gorgeous, gorgeous knife. I will leave you with that, guys. And if you have any questions or want any more information on any of this stuff, just hit me up on Instagram or TikTok, or send me an email, sales@bladezilla.ca. I'd be glad to chat. First and foremost, I'm a knife enthusiast, and any questions I can always help with, then I'm more than willing. All right. Other than that, check out the site, bladezilla.ca, and have yourself a fantastic week, and we'll be in touch. Peace, guys.